Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another exciting edition of the Security Repo Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Dwayne. Please like and subscribe. It does help us out as a channel quite a bit with the ever evolving algorithms out there. This week, we have a very awesome guest that I had the pleasure of meeting fairly recently at a really awesome event in the red teaming hacking space, Wild West Hacking Fest. Today, we're joined by Zach Hill. He's a dad, mental health advocate, creator, hacker, and nerd. For the better part of the last decade, he's worked to further security awareness training, and you might know him from his YouTube channel, IT Career Questions, a channel to help people find their way into the growing world of IT. He's got a reach of over 20 million people and a fan base of over 280,000 subscribers. That's where I hope to get with this show one day. That's why you should like and subscribe. Today, Zach is proudly with Antisyphon Training, the company powered by Black Hills Information Security, where he continues to help people find their path into the world of IT and cybersecurity. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Glad to be here.
Well, very glad to have you. Let's start where you're currently at, Antisyphon Training. Let's go high level view. What are you teaching people over there?
Yeah, I mean, just even before getting into what we're teaching, I think a core fundamental foundation of anti-siphon training is kind of how it all started with John Strand, who's the CEO of Black Hills and anti-siphon training. But he worked for SANS for many years as an instructor. And about 5 years ago or so, he left SANS, and he still wanted to provide training, but he was like, I really want to provide training that's going to be affordable and accessible to everyone. And he really wanted to, make sure that the training had that impact, and it had that we were able to do that. So he started doing this pay what you can training, which for him started off at like $0, and it was just a way for him to give back to the community and kind of just share his knowledge with everybody as much as he could. And that really kind of evolved and sparked into what anti-siphon training really has become now. Is we have quite a few different past SANS instructors who've come over to the platform. A lot of our pen testers at Black Hills are trainers for anti-siphon as well. So everybody that we've pulled into our training platform to teach are practitioners. So they are working, in the real world every single day. So they're taking everything that they're learning and they're bringing it to basically the masses and sharing it, as much as we possibly can. So we do a lot of workshops and different trainings. A lot of them start at $0, but like the most expensive is like $575, and that gets you access to a 16-hour live class and the recordings to it as well. So, the high level is that a lot of our content is really geared to specific types of job roles and duties and things like that. So it's from red teaming, blue team, purple team. We have incident response. We have SOC classes that are coming out. And we have AI classes that are coming. So it's that's kind of the high level part there, I guess. But we're even working on a lot of fundamental classes as well. So more intro level classes, because we want to build out a journey for somebody and really, help them from start to finish in their career, and be there with them every step of the way. We really believe, again, giving back to the community and working with people and having an impact. And that's, I guess, kind of high level. That's what Antisyphon is all about.
That's awesome background. I don't honestly know a lot about SANS training, but one of the things I have heard repeatedly is it is not cheap. It's good, but not cheap. And it sounds like you want to have good and cheap and fast, apparently. If this is online, you can just jump on. So that's actually a question on there. Is this ongoing classes? Do you have to sign up? Is there a schedule, or are these like virtual, that ongoing? How does that work?
Yeah, so we have like a live schedule of classes that are running. Like we have for instance, a Red Team Summit coming up, which is like an all virtual summit. It's free to attend, so like people can come and join that, like the summit day, where it's just a bunch of talks, and it's basically like a mini virtual conference online, all for free. And then the following 2 days is where we have training days. So we have 12 instructors, I think, teaching over those 2 days, and those are, again, they're all live. So 8 hours a day. And then if you wanted to watch, later, you get access to the recordings. So you'll be able to go and watch that anytime you want. So Yeah, somebody who's brand new to security would definitely find a place with us, with John Strand's SOC core skills class. That's one of those pay what you can classes. It's, again, starts at $0, and I always encourage people, if you don't have the money, just $0. Just come and learn something new. Like that's the whole purpose of like what this class and what the classes that he does are all about. Just come and learn something new and hang out with us. But the SOC core skills class, that would be something I would say that's comparable to like if you were learning something through like CompTIA Security Plus. The all the material that you learn in there is, you gain like the methodologies, kind of understanding of some of like the different tools and how some of the attacks work or how defenses work and things like that. But with the SOC core skills, like that is actually getting you hands on the keyboard. So all of our classes are very, very practical, hands-on, lab focused, so that you are following along with the instructor and really getting your hands on the keyboard and gaining that experience. So try not to focus on the slides too much. We really want to focus on getting your hands on the keyboard. So yeah, that SOC core skills class, that's, I'd say, that's our most fundamental class right now. We're building out more fundamental classes literally as we speak. So we're trying to fill that gap right now, but I would say the majority of our content is going to be more high level, probably, advanced to high level. Yeah.
So curious, um, is there a common background you see? One of the things I've discovered through doing this show and just from being in the security space is there's no such thing as a traditional background. Like the idea of there's a traditional path. I've met two people that ever went to college and thought I'm going to do security for my life. Now there are a lot of people from the military, obviously, that continue on with security the rest of their lives. But is there like more one background more common than another?
No, I don't think so. Like, uh, with doing like the YouTube thing over like, the years and coming here to Black Hills and being really introduced to, much larger communities, as you start talking to people, you ask about, which I do. I always ask about people. I'm always interested because they are so different. Like I remember the first time that I went to a cybersecurity conference. It was in Florida, InfoSec World or something like that. Um, like 2018, I think, and uh, I went there to like interview people, and like one of the questions I asked the guy, this person was like, how did you get started in this? And their story was basically they were a fisherman and they were like a crab fisherman or something, and there was like a an application and computer, like with a computer and everything that they would use to help scan for fish and or crabs and all that stuff. And I can't remember the exact story, but he basically was like found a flaw within the software for this, like, you know whatever scanner thing that they were using, and he said, like, reached out to the company about it, and he was like, hey, like, I found this issue with like your application, and they ended up paying him for that as a fine. And he was like, wait, what? Like, what are you talking about? He's like, I was just trying to help out. And that's basically how he discovered like cybersecurity and like hacking and like bug bounties and all these different things. And it's just so completely random. And like I love sharing that story because it's just like, who would have ever thought that? And now he's, successful like pen tester and crushing it. It's just insane. And he's older too. That's the other thing about it. He was like 40 at the time, 42 at the time or something. So now he's like 50 some in his late 50s or something. So just incredible, like the different like journeys you hear from people, because I don't think there is one set path that is exactly the same.
I love that. That is the hacker mentality in total. Like, how does this work? Oh, I see an issue. Let me do something about that. And sounds like he's on the white hat side of things,
Yeah.
and that's where we want everyone to be. That red hat, white hat side of the world. Um, so I got to ask you, as a practitioner, as a teacher, or also a practitioner teacher, um, what are the challenges of current methods that you're using to teach? Like, I know I always learn better in person, but there's logistical challenges to that. Video next for me after that, so I appreciate what y'all do. But where are you seeing people like hit those logistical limitations with you?
uh I think there's two sides to this, right? Because there's been a great there's I think a great aspect to part of this. So I think a lot of this, um, especially nowadays, really, and this is where I guess I will take it because to what it has evolved to today. Back in 2020 when things like happened or whatever, right? Everything changed. And one of the things that really changed was the influx of creators out there, or instructors, teachers, educators, people who just want to share their knowledge. That increased just dramatically, like overnight, right? So you have so many more people now who are out there sharing really good knowledge, really good helpful like videos, and like, walking them through like the specifics of their jobs and how they do things. And like YouTube University is a thing like that is legitimately a thing nowadays, right? Like you could go through an entire learning journey there and be prepared to work in pretty much any career field, not just IT, right? um and that's phenomenal, like that we have that much knowledge out there being shared that's helpful. The flip side of that is the misinformation that has come along with that in what has been created throughout all of this, I think. And I don't know if this is like just too high level looking into it, right, from my perspective, but because of the, I would say, quote unquote influencer, economy that was created from this, there is so much misinformation shared out there about getting started in IT, or getting started in security, or getting started in X, Y, and Z, because everybody's trying to push a narrative, I think, if you will, right? So a lot of what we see is people go through maybe like some different programs, boot camps, things like that. They're missing so much fundamental knowledge, or like different pieces, that of fundamental knowledge that really help, fill the gaps and things. For instance, like I know that like one of the companies that I was talking with recently for their SOC, they said, we have all of these great SOC analysts, but none of them know, like the OSI model, like networking at all. Like they just struggle with networking. And that was kind of like not necessarily a huge eye opener for me, but it's like, wow, yeah, like this is a thing. And I hear about it often within different, subset, I guess, of like industry, right? Of just like, hey, we're missing like this like fundamental knowledge gap. It always, I think, comes back to networking, quite honestly. But I would say those are like the, I guess, where we're at with the.
At what point do you level set with them? Like, look, we're going to learn port math today. We're going to learn basics of how IP packets move around the system. If you don't know what it is, you're not going to be able to intercept it. You're not going to be able to do anything with it. Um, so that's why I like what you're all doing's approach is it's very broad. It's not just, hey, here's exactly XYZ for this one system. It is a broad based across the board, let's level you up approach. That's what I always get from anybody that I've ever talked to that's taken the Antisyphon trainings.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the things that like we're like just developed right now for like our classes, because we've seen a struggle with students, I would say, in some of these areas. The first thing that we developed was a notes and documentation series, because there's not a lot of good content out there that really show you how to take good notes and document things when it comes to IT. And if you're going to go through one of our classes, you definitely want to be taking notes. You definitely want to be documenting some of the like this learning journey. So we saw a struggle with that with many people, and I've seen that for many years. So that's one thing I'm very excited about that we're introducing. And then like virtualization, we do a lot of virtualization and offer that for our classes and labs and things like that. A lot of people would come to us, and especially with John's like SOC core skills class. No, that's basically our most fundamental class, but they were struggling with just understanding virtualization. So we have like a whole virtualization series coming out now, so that we can make sure that we have like some of these things really covered, ahead of time. But it's just, really interesting to see like how the different people coming in and like these different pieces of knowledge, that they're kind of missing, that I think really help lay down so many of the fundamentals of IT, as a whole.
I did want to ask one more topic before we move into the end show questions. Um, and that is the elephant in the room and all the conversations these days is AI. You're right. AI driven this. AI is going to revolutionize how fast people onboard and how the SOC works in general. What are you seeing from your angle on that?
What I'm seeing is that we are not seeing the full picture yet, right? Like AI is evolving so quickly. I don't think this is maybe so like very high level too, but I don't think we've really begin to understand the impact that it's going to have as a whole. And I speak to this more from a perspective, just really specifically to like entry level IT work. That's like one thing that I'm very very passionate about. Like that's just I always want to help people get into this field, right? Like that's it's like that's what drives me. I love that, you know. That's why I started like the YouTube thing. That's what it's all about to me, is just helping people find their path, find their journey in IT. And help desk, right, has always been like that most fundamental, like that most entry level type of role, right? And always been like a great recommendation because it just introduces you to so many different aspects of IT and the different stacks. AI is changing that like so drastically and so quickly that I'm worried about how training is going to be impacted by this, because AI, especially at a fundamental level, does so incredibly well at identifying issues and walking you through issues and just mapping out things, right? Like now you could just use your cell phone and, you know, point it at my like the inside of my computer and say, identify these parts, you know, tell me how to change out my processor, and it tells you how to do it, right? It's insane, right? You could share your screen with it now and say, you know, it'll walk you through like like virtualization, right? It'll tell you how to virtualize an operating system, walk you through the steps. It's insane. So that's where, you know, it's great in a lot of ways. It's going to help businesses dramatically and in a lot of ways, but you know, as far as like people getting into this industry, you know, the way that we support users and support the organizations and businesses, I see AI being used like you're gonna have maybe have like prompt support engineers or something, you know what I mean? It's like it's not gonna be help desk, it's gonna be like prompt support, your prompt support desk or something, you know. So like I just you know, there's I just see like a huge change, I guess, with that. And the learning a lot of the fundamentals, I think of IT are even further going to be neglected because of this, and that's a huge concern.
That is a serious concern for me as well. Like somebody said it the other day. There's a kind of a sentiment starting to appear of like, well, we don't really need junior engineers anymore. Like, how on earth do you think you get senior engineers? Like, what happens when your senior engineers leave and there's nothing to replace them? Like, I don't think we're thinking long term enough on some of these props. Though I do love AI. I use ChatGPT every day for something, at least. Bouncing ideas off of research we were talking about before we got started today. There's just a ton of great uses for it.
It's a tool, it's a resource though too, you know. It's so it's like I want everybody to be using some type of, you know, GPT, LLM, whatever AI. Everybody should be learning it, and it's not because like for like negative reasons. It's because it's not going anywhere, and people have to learn and recognize and identify, you know, how like what is AI and what is not AI. And the only way that you can really do that at this point in time is by using it as much as you possibly can.
All right, so let's get into the rapid fire end phase of our show, and that is to get you a little bit better. And our first question we ask everyone is like, what's your favorite command line tool that you ever used?
Yeah, I'm just old school, and I just love everything in the command line, and but more specifically, I guess just things within PowerShell and writing scripts with that. So I guess the last role that I was in was like sysadmin role, and I just remember writing scripts for like adding users to like specifically to our environment and speeding up that process. But there's not like anything specific. So
Oh, PowerShell
yeah.
itself is a very powerful tool, and that's the interface for it is command line. So that definitely
Yeah.
fits the question. And you have been a hiring manager in your life, I understand. What is your go-to question, like that you ask every single person you interview?
What is your favorite thing to do in like basically your list of things that you listed here? You know, if like of their like skills or like tasks that they've done in a job. What is your favorite thing out of all of these things to do? I always ask a lot of different questions, so but that's one that I always like go to because I really want to find out where their passion's at.
Yeah, if someone just immediately comes back with a very passionate answer of, "Oh my goodness, if I could just do this all day, every day," they're probably going to be pretty good at that thing. You would hope anyway. At least pay
Well,
more
yeah,
attention.
and as a hiring manager, it's like, well, like notifies me and lets me know where I can help them out when when I can see they need it, or if they need, if that's something that they really love. I want to make sure I give them that time and opportunity to like do that thing. That's important to me. So
All right, last two highly related questions. What is the best security advice you could give out there right now, or that you're hearing people give out there?
I, I all the different things you hear. Man, I just share your advice, really, right? Like that's the best security advice that I could give is that if you have the knowledge of cybersecurity, of security, of like securing whatever, share that with other people. That is the best advice that I could give. Like knowledge is power, and we have to share that with everybody. I know that's cheesy, but I mean
That's
that.
not cheesy. That is great advice. The more conversations we have about security, the more secure we're all going to be. That's the whole idea of awareness. Like, let's raise those boats. And then, what's the worst security advice you hear going around out there?
Just add a one to the end for your passwords. That is definitely probably the worst.
Because no one would ever think to enumerate through your passwords. Never. It would never
Right?
happen.
Never. Yeah. No.
Well, thank you so much for being here and being part of the show. We always like to give our guest one last opportunity. Anything you want to tell us and raise awareness of, anywhere we should go to follow your adventures or get more information?
Yeah. Everybody can, if they want to just check out Antisyphon Training, check out our Pay What You Can training. Please join for $0 and just check us out. It's a lot of fun. It's engaging. Antisyphontraining.com. I know it's a long one. I'm sure you'll put it in the show
Yeah,
notes.
it'll definitely be in the
But
show notes.
yeah, other than that, like I'm just going to go back to the best security advice. Please just share your knowledge with everybody. We need that more than anything nowadays.
Thanks again for being here, Zach. It's a pleasure to have you. And um, please remember to like and subscribe. I would like to get this show as popular as Zach's show out there and reach as many people and help that many people learn security. So that is a goal for all of us. That's all raise awareness together. So thanks again.